William H. Tyndel was born on August 14, 1841, in Taunton, Massachusetts, the oldest of 6 children born to John and Fanny Tyndel. In his late teens, William found work as a nailsmith, and at the age of 20 he enlisted as a private in Company F of the 29th Infantry on November 25, 1861. The spring of 1864 saw the 29th Massachusetts join the Army of the Potomac, just in time to take part in the Overland Campaign and the beginning of the siege of Petersburg. In the pre-dawn hours of June 17th, the 29th formed up for an assault on the entrenched Confederate positions outside of Petersburg, Virginia. At first, the regiment, to its relief, received orders that the attack had been called off, but this soon proved to be a rumor, and a short time later, "Forward" was shouted along the line, and the men with cheers started on a rapid run. They had scarcely emerged upon the open plain when the whole crest of the Confederate works was fringed with fire and smoke. Grape, canister, and musket balls filled the air. The first fire staggered the whole line, but for a short distance it struggled on, when without absolutely breaking, suddenly both brigades, as by one impulse, fell rapidly back. As the line was retiring, the 3rd Brigade, not having changed its position, rose up with cheers and moved forward. This checked the backward movement, and the 3 brigades, in one confused mass with terrific shouts and yells, dashed over the field and into the enemy's first line of works and captured them. The division had lost heavily in this action, and darkness coming on, all further offensive movements ended. Little was accomplished by this assault. The Confederates remained strongly entrenched around the city, and the long siege of Petersburg soon began. The 29th, numbering just 100 men at the time, lost 6 killed and 23 wounded. Corporal William Tyndel, recently promoted, was one of those wounded. He was shot in the shoulder and spent long months in the Army hospital, but he kept his arm, and he was discharged due to his wounds on July 6, 1865. William returned to Taunton, and by 1869 he had found work as a nailmaker and was living in a boarding house on Barnum Street. That same year, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts began issuing a certificate of Civil War service to veterans of the Massachusetts Volunteer Militia. It was a way to honor the faithful service of those who served, and William received his certificate of service 1 year later. It reads as follows: "The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, honoring the faithful services of her sons, who formed a part of the land and sea forces of the United States, employed in suppressing rebellion and maintaining the integrity of the nation, has by a resolve of the General Court of 1869 directed the undersigned to present you this testament of the people's gratitude for your patriotism. Given at Boston, this 19th day of April, in the year of our Lord 1870, by the Governor, Joseph A. Cunningham." This certificate must have meant a great deal to William, for he had it framed with a tintype photo of himself in uniform. Several months later, William married Louisa Dean on November 27th, and by 1878 he had become the superintendent of Mayflower Hill and Plain cemeteries, a position he would hold until his death on January 22, 1910, at the age of 68.